think some of you might find it relaxing. I know I do in real life. It has been a little bit since I posted a video. Sorry, I've just been living my life, and June has been really wonderful so far. But today we're here to talk about my favorites from the month of May. I've got my list here. I would love to start with my favorite action from the month. Also, I watched a video by another ASMR artist whose name is escaping me right now, but she started and did like the first 5 minutes of her video by like scratching her t-shirt, and it gave me tingles, so I thought I would do that as well. And I'll link the video in the description in case you're interested. It's very good lo-fi ASMR, the iPhone headphones mic. But let's start with my favorite action for the month of May. The first thing that I did was I signed up for an in-person volunteer event with the dog rescue that I got my dog from. It was like a table at a larger event, and we had 2 puppies up for adoption. Got to talk to a lot of people about the dog rescue and its mission, and let people know how they could get involved, whether that was through adoption or fostering or volunteering at events to spread the word. It's difficult sometimes to find volunteer opportunities because a lot of places want you to commit to volunteering regularly. With my work schedule and just trying to keep videos on this channel regularly, I find it difficult to make another commitment like that on an ongoing basis. So I was really proud of myself that I found this opportunity. I'm going to do more in the future. I just have to find ones that line up with my work schedule. It was very cool and very tiring. And also, I'm really glad that my dog's not a puppy anymore. But honestly, all you need, you want to bring people to you. You want to bring people to you to have a conversation. Just stick a puppy in front of you, you know what I'm saying? People were really excited to meet the dogs and learn more about them, so it was very cool. In addition to that in-person volunteer opportunity, we made another donation to Artists Trust. Yay! In April, we made $115.38, which Google AdSense paid out in May, so I donated that money directly to Artists Trust. And I've been tracking how much we've donated since the channel got monetized, and we are up to $835.41 for artists in Washington State. I wanted to talk a little bit more today about Artists Trust because now that I'm a donor, now that we are donors, they send me their newsletter in the mail, which is kind of fun. I got their 2024 Artists Trust annual report, and I thought we could read some of the highlights just so you know where our money's going here. I just wanted to show you the cover of the report. Featured artwork by Priscilla Dobler-Zuhl. Acabaremos con el histórico mito blanco de la libertad, which translates to, we will end the historical white myth of freedom. And this piece was made in 2023. It's embroidered found fabric. Look here for just a second in more detail, because it's a stunning piece, and it's really wild to think that all of those images are embroidered. That must have taken an immense amount of time. So I'm just gonna read you the 2024. So it says our impact in 2024, $435,500 in grant support reached 134 artists across Washington state. Over $75,000 was paid to artists as instructors, panelists, thought partners, content creators, and art donors. More than 30 workshops, networking events, and grant-supported programs reached over 850 artists. 50% of grant recipients identified as Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Over 1,000 opportunities were shared on our website, averaging 93 new listings per month, and artists in 26 Washington state counties received grant support and or participated in Artist Trust programming. From Washington state's urban centers to its rural towns across mountains, waters, and communities, we supported artists whose work transcends boundaries and connects people across diverse landscapes. I wanted to share just a little bit more about that organization since they're kind of a big part of the channel and a big motivating factor for me in making sure that I'm consistent in uploading videos here so that I can continue to make consistent donations to the organization. Let's move on to the next favorites category. My favorite activity for the month: gardening, just being in my garden, and slightly connected to that is practicing forest bathing. The Japanese art and science of Shinrin Yoku, and I very much hope that I'm saying that right. Shinrin Yoku, or forest bathing. And this is a book by Dr. Qing Li that a friend of mine gifted me, and I read it back in April, but I've been kind of trying to do this more often, and I got more practice throughout the month of May. The author is the chairman of the Japanese Society for Forest Medicine, and in Japan there is a heavy emphasis on forest bathing and time in nature as medicine. The book talks a lot about how if we care about our forests, then they care for us. And by spending more time outside, we become more invested in taking care of and protecting our forests because we see the value that they bring to us. The art of forest bathing is really about slowing down, being outside for like 2 hours at a time, using all 5 senses. You're hearing the sounds of the forest, you're touching trees and leaves, you're feeling the ground on your feet, so there's like a tactile element to it. You're noticing how it smells to be in the forest. You're using your eyes to absorb all of the beauty, and then you're tasting things grown in the forest as well. Reading this book has just made me appreciate living here in the forest so much more. I really do now. Every time I go outside, notice how it smells, and it's beautiful. Let me just flip to a page here because there's a lot of pictures in the book. As you can see, the font is pretty big and there's a lot of pictures, so it was a very quick read, but it was also just immensely relaxing to read the book. I read most of it sitting outside on my porch, so I was outside practicing the things that they were talking about. Just a reminder to take care of our natural spaces so they can take care of us. So that was my favorite activity. Let's get into my favorite music. May was a good month for music. I just let the algorithm take me on a journey. I'll just sit and watch music videos. Old, new, whatever. The algorithm fed me up a Young Miko video for the song What's Up. It is in Spanish. I do not speak Spanish. I had no idea what she was saying, but I could deduct from the music video what the song was about. And if you're just looking for like some hot girl shit, Young Miko's your girl. I did look up the translation of the lyrics so that I could know for sure what she was saying. But sometimes you don't really need to know the words. You can just go off the vibes. And that's what I was doing with Young Miko through the month of May. Spanish dance, rap kind of vibes. And on the other end of the spectrum, I spent a lot of time listening to Noah Kahan radio. I live in the woods in the Pacific Northwest, and the weather is starting to get nice, and sometimes that just makes me want to rock out to some folky banjo music. We've got Paul Revere by Noah Kahan, Meet Me in the Woods by Lord Huron, Hallucinogenics by Matt Mason, Would Have Been You by Somber. I've been listening to a lot of Somber in the month of May. Silver Lining by Mount Joy, Dial Drunk by Noah Kahan, Would That I by Hosier, Truly Madly Deeply cover by Yoklore, and there's also been a lot of Rainbow Kitten Surprise on the radio as well. Just really good sort of folk vibes that feel really appropriate out here right now, this time of year. For TV, I have True Blood Season 2 specifically. I have never finished True Blood, but I've watched Season 1 a number of times, and I've watched Season 2 even more times. At this point, I like to say that Season 2 of True Blood is one of my favorite movies, because I kind of treat it as like a standalone story. I rewatched that in May and loved it. My favorite movies for the month of May had to be Sinners. If you have seen this movie, you know how good it is. You know the scene, the dance scene. Having seen it in movie theaters, I just sat there with like full body chills for like half the movie. I loved the way that it was a vampire story, but it touched on so many other things, including the history of America, racism, xenophobia, the impact of blues music on everything, and especially blues music, but really just nodding to the fact that like music has this innate power in it, and it is an amalgamation of everything that came before it, if that makes sense. It was really powerful. This movie was powerful. If it's not too late for you to go see it in theaters, oh my gosh, please do. And I watched one other movie in the month of May that kind of hit me like a punch in the gut, and that was Promising Young Woman. I don't want to get too much into it on this channel because it's not particularly relaxing, but I watched the movie and then I literally had to go sit outside for a while. I had seen the trailer for it many times. It had been like recommended to me, and I never felt ready to watch it, but I did watch it. It was a very important story, told very well, in my opinion. And I'm glad I watched it. I'll never watch it again. I would say do your research watching it in case it has any topics in it that you're not really wanting to get into. I would be remiss if I did not mention it as a favorite though, because the impact that I felt after watching it, I haven't felt like that from watching a movie in a while. Next up is my favorite food from the month of May. This one was a doozy. Okay, imagine a croissant, if you will. Beautifully made, impeccable layers, crispy, crunchy, shell of an outside, fluffy, buttery, delicious inside, okay? Now, cut that in half lengthwise, so it's almost like a sandwich, and stuff it inside with the most decadent homemade whipped cream you've ever had. A sort of strawberry compote, not quite a jam, and then close that and add a couple of fresh strawberries to the top. That's what I had at this bakery, and I continue to think about it on a daily basis. My husband and I, we had to take a bit of a road trip to get a part on our tractor fixed. And while we were on this journey, we stopped in a small town, went to a bakery, and I got the strawberry croissant, and my husband got biscuits and gravy. And while he was eating his breakfast, I said, I want you to know that this is one of the best things I've ever eaten, and I don't really want to share a bite with you, but I'm going to because I love you very deeply, and you need to know how good this is. And he thought I was exaggerating until he tried a bite, and then we both kind of haven't stopped talking about it since then. The strawberry croissant.